All right, what's up, guys? It's John here with Malevolent. Today we got winner of locals, Carson.
Yeah, hey.
And Carson, today was the first day that the new set is legal.
Yeah, so I quickly opened a few boxes to grab the Ryzeal cards, but I didn't play Ryzeal pure. I played them kind of as a splash for Voiceless Voice, actually.
Voiceless Voice, Ryzeal. Did that work well?
It worked really well, yeah. So what a lot of Voiceless players are doing is that all they're playing is the 3X Ryzeal and one sword, and then they just make Detonator. But I liked playing just a little bit more names just to replace Diviner as one of your normal summons, and also just they add a lot of bodies to your hand. So Saphira and pre-prep they were a little awkward before because you would resolve them and then not have anything to tribute, but the Ryzeals you can make a rank 4 and then still have some bodies left over to tribute.
All right, let's see the list.
So start with the Voiceless stuff. It's all pretty standard. I went a little skinnier than what's normal, so I have the 3 low, of course, with the spell traps she finds. The 3 barrier protects your stuff from targeting, protects Detonator from targeting, means they have to attack your ritual monsters if you have low in a ritual monster. So a lot of people don't read that, especially on Master Duel, and so they'll go into battle and try and attack like low, or if you've made maybe your Detonator, or if you didn't see any Ryzeal stuff like SP or something. And then we have these guys, which are kind of bricks to draw, but you really need them. This is Blessing. It lets you ritual summon on the opponent's turn, so that's good versus D-Barrier. And Radiance, which can help if you brick a little bit. It lets you shuffle back a ritual monster or a ritual spell and special summon or add a Voiceless Voice. So it turns your dead ritual spells and your dead ritual monsters into lows or Saphiras, which are what help you start. So yeah, this is also pretty standard. Some people play the Pendulum Graph Dragon, and so I have him, but he's just another like soft brick, you know, he doesn't do too much on his own, so I have him in the side, but he's good. He negates a spell, and he's really good against Tenpai because he lets you go into the Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. But yeah, this is all pretty standard. I know there's a big debate on numbers of Saphira, but I like 3 right now because of the Ryzeal stuff. You really want to see Saphira. She's another pre-prep, basically. She dumps the ritual spell, adds the ritual monster. The spells and monsters, not too much to say. This lets you float if they remove your ritual monsters with an effect. That's another thing a lot of people don't know, and I'm pretty sure it works. I know it works when they return it to your hand, unlike extra deck monsters. Does it work if they spin it into deck too? Yeah. Since they're not extra deck monsters, this will still protect you even if your Skull Guardian gets bounced by like a Spheres or something. And that's pretty much it for the Voiceless core. I suppose you could say that I had 3 pre-prep too. I was at 2, but again, like you really want to see this card when you have all the Ryzeal stuff, because my Ryzeal engine is really, really skinny. It's not really a Ryzeal deck.
Is it 40 cards in the main?
No, we're on 46.
46, okay.
46, yeah. You want to go a little bit above on Voiceless, not too much. I think the standard's like 43 or something, just because you do have all those ritual monsters that you don't really want to draw. And then for the Ryzeals, we have 3 ice. This Bonfire is supposed to be another X Ryzeal, but I wasn't able to get it in time, but that should be another X. And then 3 sword. So these are all pretty simple. They all kind of search each other. You could play more than this if you really want, but I think you might as well just be playing Ryzeal pure at that point. These just find each other so that you can make a rank 4, usually Detonator, and they just give you another normal summon. Like I had plenty of hands where I opened Ice Ryzeal and you could just normal summon Ice, and if they Ash it or Imperm it, you still have all these other extenders, the Saphira, the Barrier, and the pre-prep to just keep going after they interrupt your ice. So I really liked it. I did kind of trim this going second, but Ext was so crazy all day. Send Mirrorlogic Aggregator to negate. So dumb. And then for the last non-engine, I just got 1 for 1. Again, I wouldn't play this in regular Voiceless Voice because you don't really have the extra monsters to ditch, but with the Ryzeal monsters, again, it's just, they give you free material. So 1 for 1 was pretty free. Called By and Pot of Prosperity. I hate Droll and Lockbird, and it's just good card. You don't use every monster in your extra deck, which I'll get to in a sec, so Prosperity is pretty free. And then for the hand traps, I got 3 Nibiru. I'm standby 3 Nib and Voiceless because you can tribute him, so hands that are kind of bricky or hands that just have pre-prep or Saphira can go full combo because you can tribute the Nib. And then nothing else too spicy, just 3 Ash, 3 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Imperm. I suppose season your hand traps to taste, but I strongly recommend Nibiru in Voiceless Voice because if nothing else, he's tribute fodder, so he turns just dead hands into live ones. And that's it for the main, so nothing too crazy from regular Ryzeal Voiceless. I'm just playing extra Ryzeal names over the Nadir because it's just less bricks. For the extra, I just threw this together. I would change the extra. This is kind of just what I had.
Okay.
We've got the detonator, we've got the duo drive. There's not too much to find, and I was thinking about playing more Ryzeal cards to find with duo drive, but one that is just a really big choke point in regular Ryzeal, and I just didn't want to add that here, so it's just like an option to go into if you want, but I didn't want to have to add like plug-in, which stops your Skull Guardian from attacking, or like the whole thruster, which is bad going second, or like Node, which is a brick. Like I thought about Node Ryzeal for a while, but I just figured it wasn't worth the brick. I got 2 Aggregator. You can honestly run 3. Like this card is the only XYZ to my knowledge that has a graveyard effect. It actually came up. I got my detonator stolen, but it had an aggregator underneath, and I should have used the aggregator to pop itself, but I kind of got rewarded because then he went OG Sinful Spoils, send the detonator with the aggregator underneath, and then I could negate the ash that he found. And then this was just in crossover breakers, but these are probably the XYZs I would play because they're all so broken. Time Thief Redoer, this helps when you brick because your bricky hands now are just gonna be like Ryzeal cards with hand traps, and that's exactly what happened. My last game 3 is that my hand didn't do anything except make a rank 4 and have hand traps, and so if you're gonna stall out the game, Redoer just draws you extra cards, never dies. He just helps in a simplified game state. And then the rest is either stuff to send with Ultimate Slayer, just random stuff. Meteor Burst Dragon to summon with the Pendulum Graph. SP and Dynamondo. You can do, I didn't have to do any today, but you can do Dynamondo lines where you link off your low and Skull Guardian into Mondo, and then you, on their turn, tribute Mondo, bring back Skull Guardian, bring back low, and you get her effect to search the spell trap again. It's just really risky to do that. You play into any sort of graveyard hate if they have like, I guess they can't Bestial it, or yeah, they can't Bestial it, but they can Called by the Grave, any number of things, or like when the low tries to come back, yeah, they can Bestial it actually, yeah, so it's pretty vulnerable. I have Herald, Fairjeet, and Garura as my Ultimate Slayer targets. Anima to turn low into a way to suck up your own Nib token, which I do a lot actually. This is the best way to clear out a Nib token. And Typhon, just because sometimes you just need him. I've summoned him. I didn't summon him today, but I play a lot of Voiceless on Master Duel, and he comes up a lot. It's really nice to just have this option. And then...
Did you ever miss a second detonator?
Yeah, I think you probably want 2 detonator, and that's what I'm saying. This extra isn't really set in stone. It's kind of what I had. Like, if you wanted to cut some of this, you can. Like, you probably don't even need the Fairjeet as an Ultimate Slayer target. It's just leftover from when I had Nadir.
Gotcha.
And then as for the side, again, kind of seasoned to taste, what you expect to run into, but I have Duster, the Pendulum Graph, and Anti-Fun. And then for going second, I got Evenly and Slayer. And for going first, I got Judgment and D-Barrier. Yeah, I don't know. These are just like, I feel the most general use going first and second cards. there just aren't many decks that D barrier isn't good against right now, I feel. Even like, I guess exactly Fire King, but even like Snake Eye, you can call Fusion and cut off Fiendsmith lines and Azamina lines. I don't know, card's just really stupid, but there could be a little bit of contention, like if you're in a Ryzeal mirror and you call XYZ when you have your own detonator, but mostly I think you could play around it. Yeah, this is the list. Would I change anything? Probably. I think I'm gonna work on the side and the extra, but I was honestly really satisfied with the main. If anything, like, I may or may not go even skinnier on the rituals because the Sarvis, I guess I didn't really talk about him. I kind of glossed over him. So you can negate things. When he's in hand, you can negate things that target your stuff. So you can stop imperms. So cool lines you can do is you can find this with pre-prepper Saphira and kind of like, if they have an imperm but no ash, you can start your turn by finding Sarvis and protect your normal. He can also stop like Princess from coming back from the graveyard, which is pretty helpful. And he stops, when he's actually on board, stops inherent summons. So just lots of matchups where that comes up. Even decks that don't really inherent summon a lot still have like one or two that you can find. Against Chimera, you can stop the Nightmare Apprentice. Against Branded, you can stop the Bestial Lubellion. So a lot of decks inherent summon, so I still think he's probably worth maining, even though sometimes he's kind of bad to draw. Just the ability to play around Imperm is just so nice, and you really only need the one because you have 6 searchers for it.
Did you ever miss the Sage that summons that guy?
Kind of, yeah. I think he's good, but he is another brick. But what the old man lets you do is it lets you use the trap to play on your opponent's turn a little bit better. This summons the other effects, so it can either pop cards equal to your ritual monsters, or you can summon or add a Voiceless Voice, like I said. And yeah, you can summon out the old man, and then the old man can summon any light ritual from your deck. So that's another kind of debate whether or not to play him. I didn't miss him today, but he's definitely a consideration, because the other thing he lets you do is recycle the blessing,
Right.
which is the only way to get it back if they've popped it. So that's like this deck does get to recycle forever, more or less, but you kind of need Old Man to do it, because he lets you shuffle back your ritual spells and he lets you shuffle back the blessing if it ends up in the graveyard. In fact, I have him. I don't know if we need to talk about a card that I'm not ready.
yeah, no.
But I would say Old Man is a card that I liked playing and I considered, and I might put him back in. But it's definitely a hotly debated discussion, because the idea with this deck is I just wanted to like take out as many bricks as I could, because Voiceless Voice has traditionally had just a lot of dead cards in it, and I just wanted to minimize that.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for the list.
Yeah.